Multicultural Spotlight, presented by the Marion County Public Health Department.
We are expanding on a previous discussion that we had here, talking today about student mental health and its effects on the broader community. I'm joined once again by Wish TV contributor Emil Ekiyor. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to continue this discussion with you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Last time around, we talked about violence and how mental health impacts that among people of a youth community. You talked about how that impacts a broader community. What is the broader community and how is that broader community impacted?
So I think sometimes we look at mental health and we try to make it like a poverty thing or people without resources and shrink it to that. But we know today that mental health affects so many people. There's no socioeconomic limits to mental health. So we know that even more today. Middle class communities are affected by mental health just as much as communities of low-income communities. We see that with school shootings and things like that. Our young people are going through a lot, and it's just not based on a certain neighborhood or community. This is across all spectrums in our community.
And I think anecdotal evidence examined would show that, of course, the pandemic has a large impact on that as well, kids coming through that. This next question may be a bit tougher to answer. Why should people in wider communities, right, not necessarily Indianapolis metropolitan, the outerlying areas, the suburbs perhaps, why should they care about this issue? I
mean, other than we're all neighbors, right, things that happen in Indianapolis affect people in Fishers, people in Carmel, people in Plainfield.
How so?
Because everybody looks at it as Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. When I meet people out of town, people don't say, hey, you live in Carmel. People say, hey, look, you live in Indianapolis. So they look at Indianapolis as the city, and we know the suburbs are different, but it's the brand of where we live, right? What happens in Indianapolis affects us all, right? It affects how people see our communities. It affects our neighbors, which is the most important. These are our neighbors. These are people who live in the same vicinity as we do, right? So we can't say, well, that's happening over there, and they should take care of it themselves. Eventually, it's going to affect you.
Okay.
Eventually, you're going to feel the pains of what's happening in Indianapolis as well.
You talk about that, and sure, you know, people out there might be watching and say that's unfortunate. This thing happened in Indianapolis. What tangible things can people look at to say, wow, this is how it's impacting me?
Yeah. So when we look at, taxes, for example, what we pay and what you pay to fund programs and things to help people that need help as a state, right? Those things affect you. Mm-hmm. The resources are going to try to fix these things when we can spend a lot less to prevent it. Really, that's how it comes down to. It costs so much money to keep things going and to support a lot of what's happening in our communities, right? And when we can spend less by just caring or giving our time, supporting some of the efforts to prevent things from happening, creating an environment where young people can get help, creating an environment where they have things to do, creating an environment where we have mentors going to school, where we are helping our neighbors out. Those kind of things help prevent what the outcomes are, right? We don't want to build more prisons, more jails, and things like that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to invest in those kind of things. So let's invest more of our time and efforts to prevent those things from happening. And those are the things I say we need to do more of. And the one thing about our city, as Central Indiana as a region, is we have people who do a lot of common sense things. People don't cut off their nose to spite their face here. People care for each other. People come together to try to solve problems, right? So we need to continue to build on those kind of things to get people to understand that, hey, look, this might be this zip code over here, but we need your help. We need your expertise to come over here and work with us to help solve this problem for your neighbors.
Okay, once again, we find ourselves running out of time amid a very poignant conversation. That is the man, Wish TV contributor, Emil Ekiyor. Appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.